This is a paid program. JJ Publicidad, EMR, and its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guest.
Knowledge is power. Boost Your Business, the show that elevates your business with ideas, tips, advice, information, and tools that will take your business to the next level. Boost Your Business with Erika Sánchez begins now.
Oh, I didn't see those pictures. Hi, welcome. Good morning. It's 11:30 a.m. and I'm Erika Sánchez. I am your host today. Welcome to BYB, Boost Your Business. I'm super excited. I'm super nervous, but I'm so excited because it's my first show and we have a lot to talk about. And the most amazing thing is that I have two guests here with me, Ariani and Rosa, which we'll go into more details later. But I'm super excited and welcome to joining my show today. Well, we'll start. I'll start by talking a little bit more of who I am and what I do. And just so you guys know, I'm here every other Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Not every single week, just every other Saturday. And we'll have different topics, and I'll be talking a little bit more about what BYB stands for. BYB stands for me as Boost Your Business, is giving the public and the community ways for you to be able to grow your business with different methods, with techniques to help and grow your business. And in my background, and I'll go more in details in my background and my history, but I wanted to give you guys something unique, something different in the platform here. I'm a business coach, business consultant, but I'm also a franchise expert. And I focus on helping business owners grow. But before I go into that, I want to talk a little bit more about who I am and my background. Yes. As you can see, there's pictures of me here skydiving and motorcycle, soccer, and things like that. Yeah, I got good pictures taken a year ago on my lovely Dwayne Johnson, Gixxer 1000. It is something that I enjoy doing. It's something that releases stress for me. Everyone has their hobbies, right? And for me, it was always very sporty. I was always involved. I grew up with a bunch of boys, brothers, and mostly my friends were guys. So I always was around in sports bikes and cars and racing and doing crazy, not fun stuff as an adult. I should stop doing that. But yeah, those are more pictures. I got to give credit to Saif. He was the guy who took my pictures at the time. But yeah, so let's continue. That's pretty much about me. I have an associate's degree in public service, and I also got my bachelor's degree many years ago, back in 2015, and undergrad with ASU. With criminal justice and public service. I recently, back in 2019, I got my MBA, Master's in Business Administration. And as you can see on the slide here, I do have extensive experience working with a lot of corporations, like Radio Shack, WellBiz Brands, YMCA. In all of those careers that I worked for, I played a huge part with operations, sales, systems, leadership, marketing, advertisement. Those are more pictures of me, having fun, with the soccer team. Central High School was where I played, Berry Central. And Now, in this picture right here, I do want to spend a couple of minutes talking about my experience as a operational director and growing. I used to have yearly conventions at Amazing Lash. Well, let me go back a little bit. Before I jumped into Amazing Lash, I was going to be a police officer. At a certain point in my life, I wanted to be a cop. But that shifted, and that changed everything for me when I decided to not pursue that, career anymore, and just focus into sales, focus in women empowerment. And in Amazing Lash studio here, I ended up meeting a beautiful culture. I ended up meeting a lot of CEO and owners and franchise owners that were, oh my gosh, so impactful in so many ways. My studios were the top in the nation in the region, in Arizona region. I broke even in the first 6 months at my first location on the left here. You can see Arcadia. I had up to 20 girls at one location at one point, 14 rooms. I worked so hard to make sure that all the girls were making a lot of money and they were going home every single week with a good commission paycheck. So like you see here, I opened my first location, Arcadia, back in 2015. After that, I just branched out and helped different locations grow. That opened the doors to me to becoming an area developer. And from there, I helped franchisees owners open up more locations throughout the valley and also in other states. WellBiz Brands acquired us after that, so I ended up going to Massage Envy. Massage Envy was a company where I was able to, express most of my experience and the same experience that I had with the Mason Studio. And I loved it. I was there for a couple of years, and then after that, I wanted to pursue something else. I wanted to grow. I wanted to give back to the community and, get out of that corporate field, because when you build a legacy, it's very hard that you get remembered. When you build a legacy in a corporation, you leave and someone else takes your place. It's very hard. So when you build your own business, it's very different because that's your legacy. No one could take that away from you. Is why I launched Thrive Profit Engineer. Thrive Profit Engineer, I launched it about a year and a half ago, and then I also acquired a franchisee with Hassam Kasmai, with Franchise Creator and Combo Kitchen. Became the first Latina, the first woman, and the youngest woman in this company to open up their first franchise corporation here in Arizona. I'm very, very proud to say that. Wow. But I'm going to offer so much value to Arizona so that I can help them grow their business to the next level. And that is my mission. That's my goal, is that how can I provide more feedback, more support, and more guidance, more tools and techniques, like I mentioned to you earlier. And I want to separate myself from other competitors in the way that how can I help business owners who already are doing very well to the next level, and that's where franchising comes in place.
That's super amazing, Erica. Congratulations. I didn't know about your background, wanting to be a cop. That says a lot about you, like that willing to help other people, and of course being brave and there to do things.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your first show. Let me tell you that I'm very proud of you, and I know it's gonna be so successful because so many things that you have inside of your body and your brain, and that's so much knowledge that I know it'll be amazing for our audience in Emotion Radio and Entre Mujeres Radio. So welcome home, Erica Sánchez.
Thank you. And Ariani, she's the manager here at Entre Mujeres Radio and Emotion Radio. She's been my communication coach. She's very amazing. She's been pushing me every single week. And sometimes to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, but it is good. It's good because you need someone like that who's going to be able to support you through the way. So thank you, Ariani, and thank you for the warm welcome.
Oh, and let me tell you that you look pretty today.
Thank you.
I mean, your makeup.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's this amazing woman. Her name is Lisette. She is a friend of the family, but she has her own makeup business, and she came in today and she did my makeup this morning. She did amazing work. I asked her for a J-Lo look, and that's her right there. Lisette, thank you so much. You're awesome. I love you. You're always amazing. You have an amazing energy, and thank you for sponsoring this amazing makeup this morning. So I really appreciate your work, and it's lovely. Thank you. But yeah, so thank you, Irene. Yeah, she did a good job. I asked for the J-Lo look, and she gave me a J-Lo look.
Oh, yes, you look amazing today. Thank you, Lisette, for that.
Yeah, and if you want to find her, you can find her there. That is the information that was provided right now. She does offer different types of styles, and her Instagram page is there as well.
Erica, I have a few questions now that I'm listening and learning more about you, your background. And actually, we spoke on a live streaming last weekend, and I had the opportunity to ask you, when is the time to go next level in business?
Yeah, if you are a current business owner and you've been having your business for a while now and you haven't seen any growth, you've maybe are sustaining. You're sustaining in 10%, you're 20% sustaining every single month over month, year over year. At a certain point, you have to grow. If you don't grow, then you're not taking any risk, and you're going to just be making the same residual income. At that point, either you need some push, and that's where we hire consultants. But you'll notice at the time where you're like, okay, how can I make more money? How can I make different types of residual income, right? You ask yourself as an owner, how can I make more money? And that happens to me too. How can I make more residual income in different ways? How can I offer more value, but I'm making more money? You're not seeing a increase in your revenue. You do have to take a push. And at that point, either you do it or you don't. You have the will or you decide not to do that. So it really comes down to yourself having the will to take that step and make that change. But I think every owner should know. They have that feeling. It's just how, you know.
And what kind of business do you help? I mean, in which stage of the business you enter and help?
I come in different ways because my background, I opened locations from the bottom, from scratch, and build them up to be a successful location. But I've also been into owners. I work with owners who were struggling, who were stuck. They didn't know how to grow their sales. Their culture was horrible. Whatever that is, I go in and do a diagnostic. I go into your business. It's like getting your car, getting diagnosed. You get your oil changed. You do a tune-up, things like that, right? So that's what I did. I go into business and I look to see what I can do to improve and fix issues, operations, system, sales, leadership, team. Your process, everything. I look at everything, and I come to Jesus talk with the family or the owner. I'm like, hey, this is what we need to improve. This is what's going to cost you. Do you have the budget, right? And then I also jump into the next level is how can we grow those business owners to the next level? So if you're doing well, startup, establish, and then growth. So I focus on 3 areas: startup, establish business owners, and then growth.
Okay, and what is needed to own a business? Because it's something like everybody has different ways to approach life. Some of them are more conservative or are with the idea of working for somebody else. What is needed to own a business?
Like I mentioned to you, will. Passion is critical, and I'll use myself an example, and I think you too, Ariane, because you just opened your business too as a communication coach, and what we talked about is you've been through that, you've been through the ropes, you've been through the struggles, you've been through the politics, you've been through the whatever that is you've encountered in corporations or with your career, right? Then you feel that moment of like, okay, I'm pulling the plug right now, and I'm taking that change. I'm making those changes at this moment in my life. But I had the will. That's what separated me from the rest is that I'm making the change, and no pasa nada. That's what I say. No pasa nada. The worst that could happen is nothing goes right, and then at least I said I tried. So that's what I always say.
Yes.
And that is my response is when I spoke to you, it was like, okay, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's get your business up and running. Why not? We have nothing to lose.
Yes, exactly. At the opposite, so much to earn, so much to win. That's amazing. And I think, speaking as one of your clients as well, that the way you approach your clients is very considered, very like sweet, let's say, in a way. Like you go further and consider the kind of person that you have in front of you and make an structure or a model based on your personality and the goals you want to achieve. That's amazing, Erica.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And I try to, when I see my clients, I want them to feel the energy. I want them to feel, that they are getting a really, really strong support. So and that's what we want to do. But, that's what I want to offer,
And Erica, I think it's time to go to our first break.
I got Javier to say 1 minute. We're coming to a near break. We'll be back shortly, but we're going to introduce Rosa, our guest, invitation today. So we'll be right back shortly. So thank you.
Don't take off just yet. We have a lot more to share. We will be back in 3, 2, 1.
Soy Iván Lugo de Rojo Radio. Te invito a que me escuches todos los martes a las 7 de la noche por Entre Mujeres Radio, porque Entre Mujeres Radio es mi radio.
Done deal. This is Boost Your Business with Erica Sánchez.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm glad you guys were able to, join me again to my show. Welcome again. It's my first show. Super excited, and I talked a little bit more about me, and we're done talking about me because I hate talking about me. But I am super excited to announce that I have someone that I admire so much. She reminds me of J-Lo because she looks just like her, but she's better. And this is Rosa Cardenas. She is a master networker, and she focuses on cohesive branding with personal and business with business owners. She helped a lot of business owners. I can brag about her all day, but I want you to hear from Rosa herself. So Rosa, welcome.
Thank you for the invitation, Erika. I feel so honored, to be on your first show. And like we were talking about, there's no one better to do this part of the show for Entre Mujeres than you, because you are the expert. I think that you've said it well as to what you bring to the table as a person and as a businesswoman. So I am honored. So thank you.
Thank you. So Ariani, I know Ariani also is a digital expert too. She does social media advertisement as well. She's a communication coach. So we have something to talk about today. But before we go into that, I want to, also show in the PowerPoint here a picture of Rosa. She's super, super sexy with her Louis Vuitton. I think it's Louis Vuitton. Here we go. Yeah. Yes. So a little bit of background of Rosa, she does, interior design, and she actually has her family. I just heard about this right now that her parents, owned a business. And so she comes from the business experience. So she understands what it takes. She learned from her parents as well. And those are some of the pictures on her Instagram that I found that really stand out to me. She's gorgeous.
I see that. I was like, whoa.
Oh,
She's
my
also
goodness.
part of Mujeron, I think, right?
Yes. That's a woman empowerment
Yes.
movement, I call it. I think that we've come into our own as women, and we've realized, I think we've always known our power, but now I think we're just in our era. I think this is our time, and it's just, we can do it all. We always have been able to, but I think now more of us are coming out and saying, you know what, either move or I'm going to move you.
Yes, and I can be successful as well. And actually, you have an amazing background
Thank
with
you.
your family business. So you have been like witnessing the business stages that I was
Right.
talking about
Yeah.
from different perspective, and that's
Seen
so amazing, Rosa. And also, I feel that you represent the result of that. The fight of the women rights,
Yes.
Right.
that now all this movement that
Right.
I've been seeing is the result of years.
Years and
of-
we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, like you ladies have mentioned, I'm very proud. I'm a very proud Mexican immigrant. I was born in Zacatecas. My mother came here as an immigrant and has been here. I've been very fortunate to not have to work a 9 to 5 since I was very little. I was catapulted into the entrepreneurial world very early on, as like we were mentioning, at 9 years old, who, if you're in the Latino household, you are the translator. If you're the oldest, you're the translator. Somebody's translating, you're going with your tia, your tío, somebody's going and they're bringing letters to you, and you're like, I'm 9. I don't know what this legal stuff means, but okay. I'm not responsible for what happened, but I've been very fortunate, and like you had mentioned, my family business has been around since 1982 and has seen very many recessions, and now through the pandemic still standing strong. We did take a hit in the restaurant industry, but that my family business really kind of showed me the ropes, in the business world, and I've been able to experience a lot of great things, and I've been able to experience some not so great things, as a woman and as a Latina, as an immigrant. So because of the industry that I'm in as an interior designer, it was a very Caucasian market, and so here comes this little Latina, younger, and who do you think you are? And so there's a lot of different things, experiences, you know, but you have to take them as a lesson, you know, and you've got to walk away with that and really appreciate even those. I think the harder moments are the ones that you appreciate the most because you learn the most from. But that kind of started when the house market crashed. I opened up Blush Boutique. And that kind of started. I knew that I wanted to stay within doing something that I loved, because I understand that when you do something you love, it's what
I think that's a very important point in this business. Like okay, I wanna own a business, but what should I do? And I think doing something that you love, it'll give you the will, the passion that is needed, because it's not easy.
it's not. It really isn't. And I think a lot of times people chase the money. They'll research on what can I make the most money on, how can I make the most money. Their focus is money, money, money. And our focus, and what I've learned in our family business, is find your passion. The money is the bonus. You know, the money is needed, obviously, to pay bills and to give you a comfortable life, but it's not the most important thing. And I know it's not, you know, sometimes people are like, yeah, right, you know, but it's true. You know, when you truly find a passion, or you find what you really enjoy doing, you don't care getting up at whatever time you have to get up. You know, you just get up. You know, and if you have to work, you know, 12, 18 hours, you work them because you just enjoy it, you know? So it's really finding that passion, even if it's you having to do something that isn't something that you want to do forever, but find something fun in it. So then that way you can keep yourself motivated and moving forward to get you closer to your ultimate, you know, dream. We all have, you know, goals, but I think the most important goal for me, at least, is to be happy, you know, to have peace, you know? And so that, when you're doing what you like, it's easy. You know, you just draw that to yourself as well.
Yes, and it's
Very
so
well
satisfying. Get home and sleep and being happy with your day. What are those values, family values, learned during that time working with your parents or learning from them, that prevails in your way to do business now?
You know, recently, my most recent experience, and we learn every day. You know, every day is a learning experience for us, especially when you're working with family. A lot of times people say, don't work with family, they're the hardest. It is. It's very difficult, especially when you become an adult. You know, transitioning my family's business old school ways into a new era, a new wave of technology, and that was our biggest battle, you know. We don't have to write invoices any longer, Mom. I can email an invoice, you know.
Let me ask something. What do you wish you had known when you first started to do your business?
When the family business or my own
Your
business?
own.
My
your
own
own.
business.
When you went freelance.
You know what? I wish I would. I think I got kind of what you mentioned is I got really excited about being able to be in the fashion industry, that I realized that I got too excited and didn't do enough research as to I need to build a whole new network. You know, so I wish I would have done more of that research on the network side, because the fashion industry is very tight and it's very cliquey and it's very hard to get into. So I thought, well, I know tons of people, you know, they're going to flock to my business. That's not what happened, you know. So I wish I would have known a little bit better to do my networking a little bit sooner and promote my business a little sooner, then rather than open and then just say, hey guys, I have a business, you know. So that definitely it was like a shock, you know. It was like, wait, you guys should all be coming to my store.
Right. Rosa, remember when we talked a few weeks ago and you had told me that you had franchised your business.
Yes.
Let's talk about that just briefly, because I want to share what we can do, you know, franchise creator versus what another, because Rosa actually experienced not such a great story, but it could have, you know, I'll let you talk about it, you know, a little bit more of how that happened.
You know, and I think that's where we started to kind of bond, you know, because it was obviously through business that we initially started to meet, but my business started to grow, you know, and it's always really nice, great feeling to have where you see Other people want to either invest in your business or how can they be a part of your business, you know? So when somebody proposed being a franchisee, I thought, oh my God, this is it. I have made it. This is amazing. This is so cool. It was a very, very tough decision because one, it was a friend. It was a close friend. And she wanted to break into the fashion industry. I had already known that it was a pretty tough industry, but I thought I could guide her. So with your experience now knowing and looking back, that was definitely the hardest because I went one with a friend, and not that that's a bad thing to maybe do business with friends, but it's being realistic and knowing that this person doesn't fit your brand.
Exactly.
So it doesn't fail, you know, because again, if you go and you say, okay, well, I'm going to get X amount of money because she's going to franchise my business, you're thinking now money.
Exactly.
Not really thinking and seeing your business as maybe as a child, right? Like protecting it is, should I let my baby go next door and play, you know, or should I just wait a little bit? And I think I did a little too, I went too fast and not have the proper guidance on that franchise. Franchises are tricky, you know, and with Erika, I think as nice as she is, she'll play hardball. You know, don't let the face fool you. Don't let the pretty face fool you. She she will shut it down, and she will say, no, this is not a good franchisee, and this is why, you know. And I think that's why it's so important for, you know, entrepreneurs or business owners like myself to hire people like you to help us distinguish and not get too far ahead of ourselves, or not let the dollar drive you, or your heart, you know, well, I want to help my friend, you know, and stuff, because ultimately it can also affect your brand. And I feel like it did, you know. She was definitely not a fit. There was a lot of, like you had said, a lot of core values that didn't align with mine and how I worked, my work ethic. And so that was definitely something that
That's very interesting. I'm learning so much today. The first thing is the passion that is kind of the fuel to boost your business.
keep going.
Right? But also you need like a cold mind, an outsider, let's say it in that way, but guidance. Outside of so can see better the whole situation, because when we are passionate, we don't see a lot of things. We are just wanting to do it and make it success, but we need expertise.
Absolutely. And I think as Latinos in our culture, we're very driven by our heart, you know, so we always want to help. You know, and our heart is always, you know, we feel that's, I want to help. But in business, you really have to take the emotion part out of it, you know, and that's, you know, going to what we were talking, you asked me about my family. I had to kind of talk to my mom and my brother and say, hey, because he got upset over, you know, an issue at the shop. And I said, look, we can't have our emotion. You have to disconnect your emotion in business. As crazy maybe as it sounds, but you really do, especially when you're working with family or friends.
Yes.
You have to be able, and if you can't, then it's not going to work, you know? So sometimes you just have to be that type of person to say, hey, you're letting your emotions get the better of you, and it's affecting the work. And so we've got to kind of, and you know, sometimes I mean, my mom no se aguanta, she me regaña pronto, she's not gonna, you know, it doesn't matter like who I am, or who I think I am.
That's funny.
She's going to definitely, so I think work ethic is a huge thing that I've learned from my parents. Work ethic, understanding that if you work for it, you can have it. I feel, you know, one thing they've always said to me is anybody can have money. Anybody can make money. Anybody can be rich. You can do it. But not everybody's willing to work hard for it.
It's true.
So that's the difference, you know. So you've got to be able to put in those extra hours or read a little bit more and do your own homework, you know. But I think that's what's kept me grounded and really helped me kind of push myself onto exploring.
That's beautiful.
You know, just exploring. like I said, I just wanna. We have a short amount of time here on Earth, so it's like live like you, Erika. You know, you do all of these crazy adventures. That how do you? You know, it's. I would never jump out of a plane. I would never get on a bike. You know what I mean? You are like
The fine is fine. The bike is right there, just sitting there. But we gotta go. We're coming down to a commercial break, but we'll be right back in a few. Thank you.
Don't take off just yet. We have a lot more to share. We will be back in 3, 2, 1.
Atención mi gente del Valle del Sol, les tengo una invitación muy especial a que se conecten todos los jueves a las 10 de la mañana para que disfruten de mi show Pendiente Arizona, noticias de actualidad y entretenimiento local, por aquí, por Entre Mujeres Radio, porque Entre Mujeres Radio es mi radio.
Done deal. This is Boost Your Business with Erika Sánchez.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us, not going anywhere, taking notes, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But we were talking about Rosa and her experience as an entrepreneur and her family business and Ariane as well and things like that. But Ariane, we didn't have a chance to talk about you. So we have a moment here to talk about you too. So give us a rundown about you because you're a communication coach.
All right.
That is so needed, especially right now with social media. People, you know, that is huge.
Yes. I'm going to tell you something about my history. I have 25 years of being a communicator, working in Venezuela as an advertiser, radio host, radio producer, and a lot of things. I came here, and of course, when we are starting in a new place, we have like to redesign and allow ourselves to explore other paths and do different things and develop skills. So I started to work in the insurance business world, and it's been amazing because it provided me all the tools and the knowledge of the culture and how to approach, to sell, to do business. I was used to do things completely different.
Right.
And now as operation business manager here in Entre Mujeres Radio, feel so proud of all that learning that I got in my previous years here in the United States. I only have 2 years living here in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So this year, because I lost my previous job in
COVID.
and yes, for the COVID before Christmas. So oh my goodness, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do what I like and what I know to do. So I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna be a communication coach because I'm seeing that there's a lot of people approaching to the social media and needing the skills and the tools to do it in a professional way.
Yes.
And I had already my show here in Entre Mujeres Radio, so I had the opportunity. And then when you have the passion, when you have the will, everything aligns.
Right.
I came here and Familia Costa gave me the opportunity to start working here in communication business, and Erika appears to help me start my own company. So that's amazing how this works. The energy when you decide to shake and do what you love, everything appears.
Yeah, when you just don't let fear is what holds you back. You know, when fear holds you back. So it's true. Sometimes, you know, I think life will present little things that you need to change
Yes.
course, but we don't listen. So then big things happen. So we are forced to make that decision. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think what you're doing is amazing.
Thank
I
you.
think with podcasts just being so popular, that you're needed. Trust
Yeah.
me, because just because you know how to talk doesn't mean there's things that we don't know, and we think, okay, we could just turn our phone on and we're a communicator.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work that way. There's tricks of the trade that we don't know, and that's why it's so important to hire someone like you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
And it's funny. One time, remember, we had this training with the Sonas, and then I think Marisol asked me a really critical question. Erika, well, what's holding you back of getting your show? And I'm like, nothing anymore, because she's here. So
Right.
I have no excuse. Now I
Right.
gotta buckle down and get it going. I can't push it no more. I kept pushing it, right? And she was getting mad. She's like, Erika, when are you doing the show? Because it's getting
it's
time.
time.
I'm like, okay,
It's time.
can't push it no more. So it's critical.
It
You're
is.
right. It's
It
needed.
is. You can't run from it. You can't run from what you're meant to do.
Yes.
You can't. You can run. At some point, you're gonna get tired, and you're gonna be like, okay, you know what?
True,
Fine.
that's a good point.
and you feel that.
Yes.
You feel that sensation like you're stuck or like something is missing is because you said it right now. Like you are supposed to do some things. That's your port.
That's your purpose.
Yeah, that's your
Yes, true.
purpose. And
Yes.
if you're not doing it, you'll feel like something is missing, a piece. I won't
Yeah.
What
be
is
like
wrong?
completely happy. Things are gonna start happening, and that's when we feel so relieved when we find the guidance and when we find the tools and everything to start accomplishing.
We
that
feel
purpose.
safe. It's I think as humans we need that. We need to be surrounded by people that are going to make us feel safe. Whether it doesn't matter how much of a shark in the business world you are, you still want to feel safe. You still want to know that you want validation. You want to know that you are doing the right thing, or that you're not. Because a lot of times, I mean, it's great. I always say we all know our strengths, but it's like, what are your weaknesses, and focus on your weaknesses more than your strengths. Everybody, my mom would always say, because family would come over or friends, or they would see her on the street. Oh, you're Rosa's mom, and she's like, yeah. And I would always say, oiga, ma, porque nunca dice nada de mí? Like, why don't you ever brag about me? And she says, porque yo prefiero que la gente diga algo bonito de ti que yo tenga que decir de ti. Because tú eres alguien aquí conmigo porque soy tu mamá y me tienes que respetar. Pero ya que sales de la casa, I don't know. Maybe you're a different person. And so I'm over here bragging about you, and people are outside are like, that's not who she is. So my mom says, no. Yo prefiero que la gente diga
Really good point.
su opinión, que tengan su propia opinión pues de ti, en vez de yo estar diciendo, ay, mi hija. I guess.
Yes, and you said something very important, and is about to be conscious of our strength and weakness.
Right.
Not seeing weakness as limitations.
No.
Just as ways to improve and make ourselves better. For example, for me, it's very challenging being here in this show because it's in English. It's not my native language. I didn't come here being a kid, so even though I was studying since I was a kid, it's not the same.
Right.
Books than being on the street,
Yeah, and your friends and
earning
stuff.
your money, and
Yeah.
you have to speak. So it is really challenging. But if I don't dare to do it, how would I know?
Right, exactly.
And you do
then-
an excellent job, Ariane.
Oh, thank you, ladies. I'm so excited.
I didn't even know that she was even nervous.
Right.
So she just jumped right in, and I'm like, okay.
She's a pro.
It is. It's true. It's all about your confidence, and you just got to believe in yourself and acknowledge, like we were talking about, the weaknesses is really, try to convert your weaknesses as much into strengths. But more than anything, I think understanding that your weakness is your weakness, and seeing the strength in someone else, and you can collaborate together, and their strength is your weakness. So then that way it just, it's a lot easier sometimes to do things together. And sometimes you got to do things alone. You have to be okay with that too. It's just wherever you are in your journey.
Yes.
Very well
yes,
said.
Yes. And she's an expert in all this cohesion.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I was going to get into. Now, our topic is cohesive branding. So you both play a huge part because you're also digital marketing. So you do a little bit of branding yourself.
Yes.
Now, Rosa, in your experience, I put some important facts about cohesive. And one thing that I would say, according to the Forbes, 23% of sales can be increased if you focus on, cohesive branding. So with your expertise, Rosa, I would say, what is your opinion? Why is it so critical? Why is it so important? Personal and business cohesive branding.
Well, I'll just say McDonald's. That says it all. They've had the same logo for years. They've had the same branding colors for years, and there's no reason to change anything because people quickly identify that. And you can be that type of brand. You really, truly can. If you, obviously do the work and all of these other, steps. But when it comes to your brand, one of the most important thing is, I always tell people, is your brand is, it's a first impression before they actually meet the person behind the brand. So, they always say you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Yes.
So you have to, your business, that's the impression you're putting on. Your brand speaks before you speak. And so branding needs to be very cohesive. And when I say cohesive, I mean your business brand and your personal brand need to match. A lot of time we focus also on having a very strong business brand, but then we kind of fall back on our own personal brand. So you need to make sure that both branding, personal and business, because at some point you will have to be the face of your brand. You can hide as much as you want behind it, but if you want a successful business, you will have to be in the forefront of and be the face and representation of your business. So you have to make sure, if you're in the food industry, that if you're doing certain things, that kind of goes. You're wearing your brand all the time. Your t-shirt, your marketing needs to be branded properly. You get a lot of brand recognition when you do it the right way, and it's okay to rebrand. I'm not saying you don't have to. Just because McDonald's has not doesn't mean we can't.
Yes.
Of course.
You can evolve.
Brands can evolve. Yes, absolutely. I've been able to work with personal brandings, and one of the most important things is the coherence.
Right.
Because you cannot show something on your social media and be, as a personal brand, another person.
Correct.
So you have to align your core values, as we spoke, and project what you are.
Correct.
Of course, using the tools, the methodology, the systems, everything that is needed to run a business.
Correct.
In the case, and this is a question for you, in the case of for commercial brands as McDonald's, or how do they have to be related with the personas that runs those organizations?
Well, it's making sure, for example, like you said, McDonald's, right? Obviously, if you know their story, it's a male behind it, and there was a lot of not nice things that happened, to the actual real owner of McDonald's.
Yeah.
But the person itself, you're an executive, you're out there, but he was out there in, his suit, and he was a salesperson, and so it's really, what do you want your message to be? What is your brand voice? What is your brand saying to other people? Do you want them to come and see that you are a type of an executive type of person? Are you more of a laid back type of brand? It's really identifying what type of brand you are. If you're formal or informal, it's all of those little things. And really, I think most importantly is recognizing and understanding that brand awareness and brand recognition will equal dollars. So when you have a cohesive brand, it equals more money. I mean, it increases your sales because it's a very clear message. It's a very clear brand. And so people can identify quickly with it. So then they don't second guess it. They don't have to figure it out or ask a million questions as to what it is. They automatically see it and they automatically know.
No confusions, no mistakes. Those colors, that icon represents this brand, and this brand with the
to add into that with McDonald's, and because I know the story very well too, and I have to because I do franchise, of course. Well, one thing that I like about this is that and that goes with franchising too. A certain point of that career path, what happened when the branding was expanding too quickly? There were other locations that were used. They were bringing burritos, they were bringing tacos, they were bringing whatever. So that affects the branding. So that's damaging the core location. I call it the hub, the center location, right? So because they were expanding so quickly, the branding was losing. So what did we have to do? We had to eliminate that. We had to eliminate that. We cut those. We bought those properties. That's what McDonald's did, right? So branding is critical, and it's to add to what she was mentioning and to what you're saying. It once you see that it's affecting it, we have to find a way to just cut that out or eliminate it, because it can really hurt you and probably put you out of business too.
Absolutely. And one thing with social media that I've noticed, and I'm not by any means saying I'm a social media expert, but I will say that, and I can say that for myself, because I found myself having to clean up my social media just because there was a lot of confusion too in the story that you were saying on social media, so it's what are you, so if you've got all of these random pictures of like hiking and it's all on your business page, that's very messy and it's very confusing.
Yes. Well said. Thank you. So we're going to go on a quick break right now. We'll be right back, and we'll recap with this conversation.
Don't take off just yet. We have a lot more to share. We will be back in 3, 2, 1.
Haz las cosas con pasión, energía y confianza. Soy Eva Otero y te invito a conectar conmigo este jueves a las 7:30 de la noche. Y dale con todo, aquí por Entre Mujeres Radio, porque Entre Mujeres Radio es mi radio.
Done deal. This is Boost Your Business with Erika Sánchez.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We're still here. We're talking about McDonald's and cohesive branding, and we're talking about all stuff.
Yes, and how to make money, and how to be profitable businesses, and also some of the myths that are around the franchise figure.
Right.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ariane. Yes, there's a lot of myth out there about franchising, and do I have to have 4 locations? Do I have to have 2 locations to open up a location? Do I need to have a lot of capital in my account to open up a location? There's so many myths, and they're all wrong. If you really want to understand how to grow your business and to take it to the next level, please call me. Please, we'll make some time, and I'll give you my information at the end of the show. How to contact me, and that is my number right there. And to give you a consultation about how we can grow your business to the next level. We have a lot to talk about with Combo Kitchen, Franchise Creator, and what Thrive can do for you. And we also have 2 experts here that I want to promote too, that they are experts in their field. Remember, it's not just about me, it's about everyone else. And but yeah, so where did we left off? We talked about McDonald's, right?
Oh, well, yes, and I have so many questions after listening to you guys. For example, you were talking about like we's brand, we need a message. I feel it like a propose to do things in a certain way.
Well, I think your brand message is basically, what is your brand saying? Are you a luxury brand? Are you, if you're in the food industry, are you fast? Are you, are you dining in only? It's certain. It's are you just 5 to 12 type of, it's just being very specific about what your brand is and what it stands for, and relaying that message. But I think the branding part is, for me, it's choosing and selecting the proper branding that isn't confusing, and it doesn't, when you look at it, it's not necessarily something that you have to look up right away and say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, for example, you know, if I own a car wash, I'm not going to have forks on my logo.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense, right? You know?
Yes.
So it's obvious. I mean, it comes down to like being really, really specific as that, because I wanted to make sure that I told people about, when it comes to your logo, make sure you create it and be very memorable, you know, something that is long lasting, that hopefully you don't necessarily have to change. And one big mistake that I see a lot of business owners make is with color palette. You know,
Oh, yes.
they have too many colors in it, or the colors don't blend well. They don't, you know. And so again, that goes back to cohesive. Cohesiveness means it all has to flow. It all has to kind of go and so forth.
Yes,
So,
wow, thank you, Javier. Yes, those are really great examples of the changes with Microsoft. They've gone through so many changes, like
Right.
Rosa was saying.
And it's okay. It's okay. I think
Yes.
when you as a business owner are okay with change, that's the number one thing.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that you are a failure. Doesn't mean that your business is not successful. It means your business is growing, and it needs to evolve. And so you need to grow with it. And again, goes back taking your heart out of it and being more of on the logic side and saying, okay, what do I need to change? What do I need to do? You know, the branding colors should never be more than 5. And your logo fonts are also very, very important.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Yes, really, really important, because the type of fonts, because we have cursive,
Right.
we have sans serif,
Right.
everything talks when you're branding.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
Even though the things that we do on social media, they talk, because if you say it in your bio, for example, that you are an organization person that helps others to organize it, and you see mass in your feed, in your Instagram, for example, okay, what is it this person talking about? So the fonts, if you are like in a very serious business, they need to be
Right.
simple or
Right. It's also, you know, recognizing, am I a modern style? You know, am I a romantic? I say romantic, and more flowers and more swirlies and stuff. And that's all okay, but just keeping it not too busy. You know, a lot of times, and I always tell people, when they show me their logo, it's, okay, well, how will this translate also on a t-shirt
Yes.
or on a business card?
Yes.
Is it going, how will it print? It looks nice here,
On
but
the
how,
website.
right, how will it print?
it's
you know?
easy to read from distance.
Right, you know, and websites are huge. You have to make sure that your voice, again, your brand voice is cohesive. From your logo to your website and your social media. So
Yeah.
all of those things are saying the same thing. You know, sometimes business people will have a great website, but their social media isn't fantastic. Well, a lot of times, you know, people will go to your social media before they go to your
Yeah.
website, you know. So you really have to be very, very, very conscious of what it is that you're putting out there.
I have a question for you. There been a lot of owners that have told me, you know what, I'm gonna do my own logo. I'm gonna download, you know, Canva or whatever, and I'll do my own logo. And instead of hiring an expert, you know, what is your experience of that feedback from owners who say, you know, I'm doing my own logo? Does it really work, or do you recommend them hiring an expert?
I think always, if it fits within your budget, definitely always having a great expert team. But you can always experiment on Canva. I mean, there's tons of people that I've known that have created great logos, you know, on Canva, and it doesn't mean, you know,
And we
anything.
love Canva, yes.
Yeah, I love Canva for
We
a
all
lot
use
of
Canva.
stuff. You know,
Canva lover.
We're all Canva.
so it's not about, again, it's not about the money. It's more of like, is that your brand? Is that your logo? You know, and if you're struggling on Canva, then maybe you do need that person, that graphic designer, to bring in that creativeness, because sometimes you get blocked, you know.
Yeah.
You're the owner, so you have all of these things that you want to see on here because this is your message.
Yeah.
But you have somebody, like you say, an outsider come in and just kind of break it down and clean it up, then you know that helps. So it really just is a personal preference, but I think that you'll know once you start to see that you're struggling, and if you look at it and you're questioning it, then more likely it's time to maybe talk to a professional, even as a consultant, you know. You know, if you don't want to hire a graphic designer just yet, again, consultants definitely help out tremendously. And at the end of the day, I mean, I know I talk about not chasing the money and focusing on your passion, but at the end, we all want to make money.
Yes,
And
yes.
so a clear brand message will equal increase in sales. And so that again goes to the personal branding. You know, you also want to be represented when you're out, you know, and people see you. If you have a successful business, but every time they see you out, and I'm not trying to say anything negative about anybody because I don't want anybody calling Erica. You can call me if you want. But I'm a big believer in, I love the leggings. I love all of that great stuff. But for me personally, I just think that they're for the gym. You know, I feel like it takes the same amount of effort to put a pair of jeans on and a cute shirt.
Thank God I didn't wear my jeggings this morning.
You know, I just think it's you have to start making the work as well, you know, for your own brand. You know, you want to start saying, okay, this is what I want people to see me as when I'm out, you know, so that's important.
Yes,
We're coming
we
to you.
We do have more questions because time is running.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Now talking about there's another segment in the branding is the wardrobe, and that's
Yes.
another area of your
Yes.
expertise.
Yes, correct. I am the wardrobe stylist for Acceso Total on Telemundo, and it's a very different type of client. It's, you know, they are specific in what they can and cannot wear. They do have to be on trend to a certain extent, but again, there are limitations. Whereas if you have a business owner, you have to be, you have to take it. It's very different, you know. When you're in one-on-one with the client, you almost have to build their confidence up and let them know that they have to be comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
You know, I have to teach them about their body type, what looks best on them, what doesn't look best, what we want to accentuate the most, and what we don't, you know. So
This deserves another whole show talking about this.
Yeah.
That's so valuable.
it is very
information.
important, you know. It's going, you know, to, we talk about job interviews, but I always focus on business owners because those are the ones that are always contacting me. And what I have found in my personal experience has been that when I get hired on from a business owner, there's a transitional phase going on. It's either their business is growing and they want to keep up with the business,
awesome.
or they're going through a personal transition, a divorce, a breakup, or something, and so they're ready for a change. They're ready to walk away from that stage in their life. And so it's really, for me, a lot of times people think that a personal stylist is expensive, but for me it's not. I don't go in and say you have to get rid of all your clothes. I look at what you have and I tell you what works best for your body type now, and we kind of build your wardrobe from there. You don't need tons of clothes. It's in our you know, it's more of a personal thing that we want to go shopping, but it's not that.
Yes, and I think as you said before, the first impression is very important, and I think is one of the aspects that we have to take care of the most. And if we have to invest a little, pues
It's
a
like
great
you
return
said,
of the
it's an investment. Yeah, it's an investment in yourself, and it's an investment that will always live on, because like you say, it's knowledge. Knowledge is power. So the more you know about how to do things, and I don't stay with my clients forever. I teach them what I need to teach them, and I move on, and they use those tools that I teach them to become better.
Awesome.
You know, to become better. But I think for the most part, and even men, you know, I know for them it's just the suits, but it's also teaching them where their waistline falls, you know. And sometimes it's simple little things that we do on a regular basis that can make a big difference.
Yes. Thank you, Rosa, for all that amazing guidance and feedback, and Ariani too. I do want to go mention that you guys can find me in Franchise Creator Phoenix. This is my landing page for Franchise Creator. Finally got it up and running yesterday, so thank God my team got it up and running. So I'm so happy. It's a little bit of bio of me. This is my other website, Thrive Profit Engineer. I did add franchise in that area. But again, just give you a quick rundown. You know, I focus on a weight consulting, opening up a new business or becoming a franchise, internal structure operation, you know, planning consulting, sales growth, and franchise development. You can find my information there as well. Javier posted that, my address and my email and all the information. But before we go, I do want to give you guys a quote at the end. I want to do this thing where I do a quote at the end of the PowerPoint or my show. And I think it's very impactful. When I read this quote from Richard, I was like, wow, this is something that I can literally provide to my audience, is that you can't run a business without taking a risk. The brave may not live forever, but the cautious do not live at all, by Richard Branson. So I will tell this to every single owner out there that gotta take risk. Do it with me. You need help? I'm here for you. So you're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you.
This great deal has already started. We are waiting for you with more tools to take your company to the next level in the next edition of Boost Your Business.